A week, they say, is quite a long time in the political scene. And of course, such has been for Kalonzo Musyoka, the Wiper Party leader, and of course, AKA, known as the Watermelon, and now recently termed the indecisive kingmaker. Of course, we are going to talk about him being termed as the indecisive kingmaker, a lot of issues around it. And of course, we are also talking about the deputy president's vote rigging claims, which of course he said that while addressing a democratic forum in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, this together with much, much more, of course, even going into party politics, will form the basis of our conversation tonight. And of course, as usual, I have with me two guests, but of course, one will be joining me in the course of this conversation as we continue to delve deeply into matters of politics. And of course, just to introduce my guest tonight, and of course, I'll start with Walter Simba Marara. Of course, Walter Simba Marara is an MCA aspirant, Komarock Ward. Of course, he is also a political commentator. We are having him here. And of course, he belongs to the Wiper Party. And of course, I believe we are going to talk and delve much into the politics. Of course, the Wiper Party leader has been the talk of the town. And of course, people are talking so much about him, his indecisiveness, of course. We also have Milton Lucheri. Milton Lucheri is also joining us in this conversation. Milton Lucheri is a UDA senatorial aspirant in Nairobi. And of course, he will also be helping us as we delve deeply into this conversation. Thank you so much, gentlemen. But of course, my third guest is Julius Genga, who is an MCA of Koru Ward, Muhoroni. Of course, he'll be joining us momentarily. He has been held up in a jam. But of course, now I want us to start this conversation with this. And of course, building on this conversation, we have the deputy president who has sparked a political storm following his appeal to the global community to help so that maybe certain people should not interfere with the elections in Kenya. Well, being that the deputy president, being that this claim is not just coming from any other person, but it's coming from the second in command, the deputy president, and per se a seasoned politician in Kenya, who has witnessed both coins of politics. He was there in 2007 when allegedly their votes had been stolen. In 2017, we saw him actually defending the outcome of the general election when the president of the Supreme Court had actually annulled the vote, the electoral process. What does it mean? What does it even show? And what does people make of this? Because it comes not from just any other person, as you have said. Yes. What do you make of this?
Thank you, Eugyne. First of all, I just want to thank you for calling me to your studios. Mm-hmm. My name is Milton Lucheri. I'm aspiring for the seat of Nairobi Senate, and I'll be vying on the UDA party. Good news is that I've been cleared already by the party to run on the same position. Now back to your question. You know, when the second in command says that there's allegedly going to be rigging in the coming election, there is more than sufficient reasons for him to say that. And I believe that is informed by very, very solid facts that has been presented to him. Mm-hmm. So it is just not a say in the air. Mm-hmm. He is very, very concerned because of the kind of evidence that has been tabled before him. So there is room enough for him to believe that mm-hmm. there are plots by the other parties to rig him out. Mm-hmm. And you know, that is informed by the many things that has been said before concerning 2022, especially coming from the president himself, mm-hmm. who is actually the head of state. Mm-hmm. One, he has been quoted by saying that he will not relinquish power mm-hmm. to a thief. Okay. And we know who that person is, or who he's trying to refer to. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't said that once.
Who is this thief?
I think that is for Kenyans to say, because he needs to tell us who is this person.
This thief is the deputy president?
I don't want to say it's him or it's not him. What I want to say is that, number one, the president has been very categorical by saying he will not relinquish power to his deputy in so many words. And when you looked at Sagana 3 as it happened about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, the president ranted in vernacular language, and he said that severally that he is not going to give power to Ruto. By all means, that is what he said. And the reason why he said that, one, he's lost on the process of democratically electing the bona fide and the people choice for presidency. He has sidestepped that process because he's talking of handing over power to the person he wants. That means he has outdone the universal suffrage process. It means it's out of the equation. It's just to say that whether or not people, you choose a particular candidate, and it is not the person that I like, I will not hand power to them. That sends a very strong message to say that, one, even if the people elect the right president, he will not hand over power. And how is that done? One, through machinations of the state. And that machinations include voter rigging, voter intimidation, voter, all those kind of things that the state normally does, so that someone is not declared the winner. So the deputy president, for him to address the delegate conference in the US and to tell them that this plan for rigging, it is based on solid reasons, and those reasons have been confirmed by the president himself, who you know does not want to hand over power to him.
Mr. Simba.
Yes.
You have had what is just said, and of course the question that I just posted that, about the deputy president making some rigging claims. How serious should we take these claims? First, that it comes from him, the deputy president, second in command.
Thank you so much. First of all, let me thank you for inviting me for this show. It's a pleasure to sell our agendas to the public, and such a like forum. We thank you so much for inviting us. Back to your question, I would love the UDA party and candidates to be sincere in their opinions regarding whatever the president is trying to lay out in US. What the president, or what the deputy president is portraying the country very negatively. When he argues that the state is going to use machineries to rig the elections, that is not in order. Who is the state in this question? That's the question I would love the Kenyans to answer. Who is the state in these questions? The deputy president is in the state. He has all the machineries. And thereby claiming that he is rigging deceit in the forthcoming elections. He has already depicted defeat in his camp. So he's trying to come in a way he's trying to use reverse psychology to portray this election that it's already rigged, and he has enough evidences. How can you have an evidence of something that has not already been conducted? It's already in the state. Since the president declared his support for Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, that is when he started raising eyebrows regarding the same. He started raising eyebrows about elections being rigged, about state machineries, deceit, and the rest of intimidation of voters. When I see this, I see a lot of irony behind the curtain. And if I see what is happening currently in the country, a deputy president alleging and making such huge allegations, especially in America, and yet he's a sitting deputy president, I feel so humiliated on his behalf. It is not portraying the country positively. Then it clearly means that he has already seen defeat. And that is how we know very well, just to use an example, Raila Amolo Odinga had done that for the second time. In 2007, when we had the Pentagon, and 2013, he was in America, raising similar complaints. We did not see the deputy president raising an alarm over the same. But since the president has now endorsed Raila Amolo Odinga, he's now claiming there are a lot of rigging claims because he has already smelled a rat in the defeat.
Okay. There's actually a lot of issues and concerns that I can maybe pick from his statement that he has just made. And of course, just to maybe add to what he has just said, and ask the question as a whole, of course, on Wednesday, the Orange Democratic Movement, that is the, we have, if I can quote from the Deputy President, like after that, of course, we had people talking about what happened. And of course, we had leaders who thought that the Deputy President was a tensed person. And that is why he was making such allegations. He had already sensed defeat. And of course, just as he says. And of course, there's also a lot of things from it that comes. Of course, we talk about issues. That why does he go outside? Why does he just have to go outside to run all these issues? Why didn't he involve the institutions here in the nation? What do you make of all these?
Eugyne, you see, there are several aspects I've picked from his statements. One, if he goes to raise rigging claims in the US, it's not portraying the country in the negative sense. Why? Because the US itself has also severally said that their elections were rigged. So it's not a big deal if if our party leader goes and says that there is scheme, there is intent, there is purposes for rigging election. The US in the 2016 election, they came and said the Russians have invaded their servers and they have rigged elections in favor of Trump.
Yes.
I know you remember that story. Yes. And it was there out in the whole world to see. And people started questioning and said, does it mean that the democracy of the US cannot be trusted? Okay? And people started actually questioning the democracy of the United States.
Yes.
Just by that simple fact that there's an investigation to see whether Trump was rigged in or not, okay? So by Kenyans, through their deputy president, raising concerns that we sense there's gonna be rigging this election, we are not putting the country in the negative light, okay? What we're just doing, we are raising very genuine concerns, and because we know that every electoral quinquennium, there's a problem of electoral violence, and it is never about the people who voted. It is always about the process of the people who voted. And that is why we are raising the alarm way in advance, before it even happens, so that people get aware, and if there's anyone who's trying to do that, they correct it, and then the IBC takes necessary steps to make sure that rigging doesn't happen. So that is the first point I wanted to just mention. And then the second point you've mentioned about ODM, I think there's something you've mentioned about ODM. Honestly, I wouldn't want to compare the statement the ODM leader made in 2013 with now, because right now there's a lot of process, there's a lot of progress in the electoral process of Kenya. It is not perfect, but we have gone a step higher than where we were in 2013. So what the party leader is just doing is just saying that, yes, we've made these progresses, but there are these things that need to be checked on. And finally, you see, the deputy president is the principal assistant of the president. He is not the person that wields the ultimate power. He is just an assistant to the president. And if the president so wishes that he takes all the responsibilities from the deputy president and he exercises them by himself, he has the legal and the constitutional mandate to do that. So just a minute, let me finish. So when you say that the deputy president has access to the system and all that, it is coming from a point of misinformation. Because if the president decides that my vice will not have access to all these things, he will not. And you know, from previous experiences, he was kicked out of cabinet by the president himself. The roles that he was playing to chair the cabinet and all, they were all taken and given to a cabinet secretary.
Allow me
so
to
the state has the power to, the president has the power to go around his deputy.
Let me hear from you,
just to intercept on what he's saying. The claim is making that the deputy president doesn't have access to the state machineries and the rest. I think what he's trying to tell us today is that the deputy president should be stepping down. He's no longer in charge.
Okay.
That is what he has already told us here in the public forum. He's no longer in charge of his constitutional mandates. So the most humble thing he should be doing, or he ought to have done, he ought to have stepped down and let other leaders whom the president recognized to be performing could have already performed. Right now, he's in America. He's at the United States of America with the kingship of a deputy president. That is the fact. And if you go with the context that you are the deputy president and you make such a serious allegations regarding your country and you are in charge, the Constitution has already mandated you, and thereby telling us that there are those powers that has already been snatched from him in the cabinet and the rest. Just to highlight on this, wherever we are having MOUs, like the deputy president and the president, we have all the constitutional MOUs that were lined down, that wherever we've taken, we are in charge of power. We'll be sharing this, we'll be sharing that, and that is where the Pandora's box comes in now, that Kalonzo Musyoka raised. So wherever they are having all these mandates and the constituted ones, you cannot come in the public forum and say that our deputy president is a weak person, cannot claim this, and yet is already foreseeing elections being rigged. That is out of context. Let us take out of context completely, or else the deputy president is lying to us Kenyans and telling us a lie before the country that is not in charge, is not mandated as the deputy president. Therefore, he should do one humble thing by resigning and letting others take charge of where he had left.
And this actually raises a very critical concern, because if it comes from the deputy president, who is the second in command, as we all know, does it mean that, and of course, bearing in mind that the deputy president has been on both sides, does it mean that the deputy president, because actually we have had claims that they have been rigging of the past general elections. We have had in 2007, 2012, 2013, and of course even 2017, we have had claims of elections being rigged. When we talk about the deputy president now making these claims, going even to the United States, why is he making them now? If his claim is really genuine, why was he not making this while he was in government? Why was he waiting? Because now we can say ostensibly that he's an outsider of the government, just as you have said yourself, that is an outsider. Why is he waiting for him to be an outsider, for him to start making these claims?
Thank you, Eugyne. I just wanted to respond, first of all, to the claims that he had made first, and then I respond to your question one. He says that the deputy president needs to step down because he's functionless, in quotes. And I just wanted to straighten that and say that I made it very clear that the president has the sole mandate to run the country as he wishes, of course, in the confines of law. And in so doing, he may decide that some of the functions may be cascaded down to his principal assistant according to the law. And you see, he has done that several times, especially between 2013 and 2017. He was actually giving responsibilities and duties to his vice president. But come to 2018, under the handshake movement, we saw that he single-handedly, the president, took away the powers of the deputy president, and he gave it to someone else. Therefore, you know, to say that you haven't seen these things means that you don't live in this country.
Mr. Milton, you're just repeating what you just told us.
I'm just making it very clear. I'm just making it very clear because it appears that it wasn't understood in the first place. So I was just straightening that. So that you understand that right now the deputy president, as he is a very frustrated man. Because of the constitutional dilemma he's in right now.
Okay, now we understand that.
Exactly.
Now,
so
yes.
It is not to say that when he's in a constitutional dilemma that he should step down.
Okay.
That is not provided in law.
But actually,
and even
yes.
when it's come to stepping down in law,
yes.
there is constitutional provision for that.
Okay.
How a deputy president can step down and all that.
We are actually coming to that now.
Yes.
But now the pertinent question is, why is it that he is waiting to be an outsider for him to make these claims if he's actually genuine, your party leader?
Actually, I was coming to answer that, and somewhere along the way you cut me short.
Yes.
But one, when there are serious reasons to believe that elections are going to be rigged, it is to be raised by any person, as long as they are Kenyan. Be it the president, be it the deputy president, be it me, be it you, any person who has genuine and very verifiable evidence that elections are going to be rigged, they have the right and mandate, and it is within their purview to raise it. It is only this time that the deputy president has gotten access to that information and is the first person to raise it. So we should not crucify him. Now that he's the deputy president, he shouldn't raise it. Okay. Even if the president himself smells coffee and see that our elections are going to be rigged, they're not going to be fair, he has the right to say so. Okay.
So we're just going for a short break, but of course I'll give you time.
Allow me to conclude on what...
we're coming back to that issue, Simba. Of course, we have not yet concluded it, but of course, we're coming to the same issue. We are going for a short break, and of course, we are coming back.
You'll allow me to alight on one before we go for this break.
In a minute, can you?
We have what is called the deputy president not having confidence and trust in the organs of this country. That is already in the limelight. He has already declared he doesn't have confidence in the IBC. I don't have confidence in any kind of institution that is in the Kenyan economy. Okay. So that is just what I wanted to highlight, that he has already declared it public. He doesn't have trust, confidence on how elections are going to be run. And yet there are a lot of venues where he could have raised this concern other than raising
whistleblowing is not lack of confidence.
Okay. Actually, sir, we are going for a short break. Ladies and gentlemen, we are actually questioning the genuineness of the deputy president. I believe that is now the pertinent question actually that we are focusing on, the genuineness of the deputy president in raising these electoral malpractices concerns, because he has been a man of double speak, maybe to say, as he has been described, maybe speaking this in the other days and of course having this. But of course we still have much more, speaking about Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka as the indecisive kingmaker. And of course we're also going to delve into the party politics, that are the laws that have been introduced. Of course, stay put and don't touch that dial, because we are coming right back. You find us in 21144. That is our SMS line at GBS TV Africa. At Eugyne Ochieng kwach, that is where you find us. We are going for a short break. We'll be right back.
It's your boy Ben C, and you can call me the True Ninja. I'd like to invite you on an amazing show that will be happening each and every Saturday from 8 p.m. to 8:30. And the repeat on Sunday, each and every Sunday from 1 p.m. So make sure you join us for the GBS Art Club for an amazing show. Usikose.
For starters, old ways of thinking. A lot of the leaders who are still there still think in the colonial means of thinking. I can't blame them. Walizaliwa hizo times. Yeah. But wao wanataka kujua tu sahi iko sawa.
We need to let young people go out there, face the world, realize their potential, and when they move outside there and realize their potential, that's when we shall know the true character. Leadership is given by God.
When the mindset of the people, when the mindset of the leaders is different from what we have now, the mindset of the people will be different.
So corruption has taken that, it has become like a hereditary. People are inheriting from one generation to another.
Have you ever been to a market at the comfort of your living room? Well, worry no more, because we got you. GBS TV Home Shopping is that market for you at home. Purchase, place your order, and we deliver that item to you. Oh yes, you heard me right, absolutely. All you need to do is watch the show, place your order, and we'll definitely deliver that item to your doorstep. GBS TV Home Shopping is a show that will be coming to you from Mondays to Saturdays at 12:30 p.m., 2:30 p.m., 6:30 p.m., and 10:30 p.m. And of course, I'll be your host, J to the T. You can call me JT. Zaya. And this is GBS TV Home Shopping.
CEO and founder of Sinan Medical Center Limited. We are located in Loisambu, Lumumba Drive. Our organization started 5 years ago, and our services include general consultation. We also have ultrasound screening services. We have comprehensive and affordable laboratory tests. We also have family planning services. We do dental services. We also do late night consultations and treatments. Anybody who has an emergency any time of the day or the night, you're free to call us and to visit one of our branches for treatment. Your privacy is our first priority. Thank you and welcome all.
And I'm Rachel Gambo, the boss.
We will be bringing to you Youth Hub 254,
the show that gets your group on.
Awezikuwa na trend kama mjataja Komondo.
Nikata sikadumi.
Lazima fit in, you're like, you belong here.
I believe that fitting in should be declared a national pandemic.
No, actually, sahi bado. You're the one who started it.
So Nikki, sema nakupenda niamine, na Nikki, sema sitaenda, believe me.
Hello, welcome back. Of course, this is the Insight where we delve into matters politics. Of course, Julius Genga, our third guest, is just joining us now in this conversation. Julius Genga, the MCA of Koru Ward, Muhoroni, from Muhoroni in Kisumu, is joining us in this conversation. And welcome, Mr. Julius Genga. Yes, so we are actually having a conversation. We're talking about maybe the Deputy President's visit to the United States, and of course he has made several allegations and claims, of course, some of them being rigging, and of course he has also touched on the economy of Kenya, which of course I want us to now delve a bit into. And of course it says that in his scathing attack on the government, he says that Kenya's economy is actually exclusionist. And he says that he wants to come with the bottom-up approach, the mantra, the development mantra, to assist in democratizing the economy of Kenya. What do you make of this statement from the Deputy President?
Thank you so much. What I would want to say from the statement,
yes,
I know the Deputy President maybe has more information than we do, because he has served in this government for the last 9 years. And what is interesting now is he's realizing that there are certain things that did not go well. He talked about, he made several allegations. Some of them I may not really have that privilege to comment on. But I want to say that a person of the Deputy President's caliber has woken up and realizes that Kenya, or rather our economy, is a club. That's why he's making those allegations that is exclusionist. And I agree with him. However, I must say that from when we were growing up, I knew the Deputy President as somebody who has helped or to propagate this kind of exclusionary club that we have, where a few people run the show and the rest of us are followers. It is only unfortunate that he's realizing this now that he wants to be at the apex of our country. But I want to say this without fear of contradiction, that whatever he's trying to say may not really add him votes, if that is what he wants to say.
Okay.
Because we know him as somebody who's, you know, remember the times of YK92? This is somebody who is a pure student of Moi. And when he makes such allegations, then we wonder, what of those who grew up without having the privilege and everything else that he had under the former President Moi? Yeah, so that is a very unfortunate statement for a high-ranking government official of the Deputy President's caliber. However, he knows best why he made those comments.
Okay. Yes. Let me get to you, sir, Simba. The Deputy President, talking about the economy, the bottom-up mantra, actually as a development mantra, as a solution to this, the issue that is ailing the economy of Kenya. Do you think that actually that is what is ailing? Okay, we have an exclusionist. I don't know what you think about it, and maybe what you think about him introducing the bottom-up mantra to save the situation.
Thank you so much once again. Direct to your question, the bottom-up economic approach is not well structured, that you can explain to someone to understand that this is what we are bringing on the table. It has been severally repeated. We are doing the bottom-up. Wherever we ask them, what is this bottom-up approach that you are having when it comes to building the economy? They have never given us well-structured answers. Trickle down, as already it's structured, answers are in place. When you speak of the bottom up, and then you bring the inclusivity of a hustler, it is a means of selling themselves to the hustler nation, or to the people they feel that are underage or under low pay in our economy.
The people who have been excluded,
excluded from the government. So it's an approach that is they are trying to sell what is called inclusivity, but they are using the wrong term that they are going to help these people grow economically. That's why you see they are using wheelbarrows to sell on their platforms.
What is the solution, sir?
This is what we should do. What I do know about the trickle-down economy, let them come up with a structured type of economic model where resources are distributed equitably. Equitably, and you know already we have devolved government. Equitably, resources are distributed to the local levels. And already the devolution has given the local levels the mandate to make decisions on the projects that they want to conduct. Though it's unfortunate that we've had bureaucracy at the lower levels. But they already have the mandates to make decisions at their local gubernatorial levels, county, sub-county, and the ward administration level, which has partly worked on this time. Though not all the units have been devolved fully, like the health, education, and other sectors that the central government felt these ones cannot.
So according to you, you think that maybe the system of governance that we have right now, like now the devolution, is solving this exclusionist kind of economy that we have?
I can agree with you that it's working.
Okay.
It's already working. Because wherever resources are distributed at lower levels, there's a lot of measures that are being used so that these resources can reach to different economies divided on different levels. The equitable distribution of resources based on a lot of factors that I cannot be in position to mention at this time. So that approach is working well. I can agree with it. As long as corruption can be handled and dealt with a lot of strictness, then we can move Kenya to another level.
Okay. Actually, you're bringing in another issue about corruption. Mr. Milton Lucheri, I believe you've heard how they've brought their points. Of course, Mr. Genga says that indeed he agrees that we have an exclusionist kind of economy. He agrees with your party leader, the deputy president, and he says that, yes, in as much as we have it, but the deputy president in all his years has been part of this exclusionist economy. Actually, he's among the people who have propagated it. He talks about us, he believes, he brings in the aspect of devolution. He says that, look, we have devolution, which is actually, it is helping us, and going forward, it's going to actually be, to heal this issue that we have been having for quite a while. He mentions and says that the bottom-up approach actually is not structured well. You have heard their claim. What do you make of all this conversation, even what your party leader is saying?
First of all, I'd just say one thing. Just as my colleague from Muhoroni has said, there has been the exclusionist kind of economic model in place. And that is why we are saying that needs to be changed. And Simba has just confirmed that he represents the constituent in the country that do not quite understand the economic model that we are proposing, the bottom-up, much as there is.
So what is the, if I can just ask you, what is the bottom-up economic approach and explained in a simple way?
I wanted to use the next 2 or 3 minutes just to talk to Kenyans about it.
Can you take one?
Okay, I'll take 1 minute just to make them understand and also appraise them of this idea of bottom-up. To start from the beginning, trickle-down economy is very simple. The big corporates get funded by the government. They get to enjoy tax relief, tax holidays, and those kind of things with the hope that they will employ more and more people. And the more people they employed, the better the livelihoods. That is an economic model that has been there for the past 50 or so years. And we have seen what it has done. It has given breed of elitists in the country. A few people who enjoy the monopoly of power and also the monopoly of the economy at the expense of the many who are suffering and languishing in poverty.
What is bottom-up?
So that is the trickle-down economy. And then the bottom-up economy is the exact opposite of that.
What is now
it means that the majority are empowered through through very special programs by the government.
Which special programs?
Which one? I'm coming to that. I think you need to be a little bit fair with me, so that I give out my points, because I am reading bias. So just give me my point so that I can finish.
Okay.
So the special programs we are talking about, one is making sure that funds are castigated down to enterprises that really need them. And these enterprises are run by the majority of Kenyans. That's why we're talking of SMEs and MSMEs, medium and micro small enterprises. And this includes the salon people, the border people, the mutura people, something that has never been there since the economy, since the country began. So, you know, we are having a very new conversation that people do not understand. Now, when we were instituting the new constitution, we were given 5 years.
Before we go to the new constitution,
just a minute, I'm drawing parallels.
Yes.
We were given 5 years of an authority called TA, the Transitional Authority. That authority was there to oversight the transition from the old constitution dispensation to the new constitutional dispensation, so that any rigidities in the process are seamlessly they are done away with. So in the economic model that we are proposing, the bottom-up economy, I know there are fears that people do not understand this and that, but there will be an authority that will oversee the transition from the trickle down to the bottom up, so that we get to enjoy this. And M-Pesa is an example of a democratized economy.
Okay, we just want to go to the specifics of the bottom-up approach. You've just mentioned the MSMEs, the SMEs, and you speak about trickle down, having to go through corporate for them to reach the people, because we believe that through the corporate, maybe the people will get employment.
Yes.
But you've actually not given the specifics of the bottom-up approach.
Let me just let me just refine that principle a little bit.
Yes.
So that it is well clear.
Yes.
Now, you see, the bottom up is very simple. Is making sure that the majority of businesses who are not the corporates, but the small-scale businesses. The
specifics is, how is that Maomboga
exactly
going to be given
that is where I'm going to.
Yes.
What is going to happen is that the Mamambogas will be made to have their own welfare association. The people who ban maize, they'll be called to have their own maize banners association, so that they now can go to the wards to be given the funds in order to run their businesses.
They go to the wards to be given funds?
Yes, because right now the fund,
but the
fund is there. The government is giving the funds so that these businesses have access to credit. That's basically what it's all about. Because as it happens right now, it is only big corporates that are given billions and billions of money.
I understand.
Yet the small businesses do not get.
I believe our viewers will judge, of course. That was for them. I'm seeing my one of my guests, Simba, nodding in this.
Of course, he doesn't understand.
In disagreement.
In disagreement.
Let me just give you a minute, maybe to as you conclude all these issues. What do you think?
You've heard my colleague.
Yes.
Very well trying to define.
Yes.
What bottom up is.
Yes.
Empowering the Mamamboga. Empowering the small scale businesses. Because that is where their concentration is. That is where their concentration is. So that they can blackmail us, that they are empowering people at the grassroots, that the people at the up now cannot support the people at the bottom. That is not the case. That is not the case. There's no theory behind bottom up. And that is why they don't have any well-structured definition of bottom up. They can never define it in the public platforms. No one understands even the Mamamboga. You will only know that he's supporting a wheelbarrow. A wheelbarrow.
I believe I'll give Mr. Genga, of course, we are sitting MCA, to give us his view on this. Maybe if you can take maybe 1 minute, if you don't mind.
Thank you very much. One thing I would not, I don't want to talk so much about what my friend is saying, because every time you ask anyone who prescribes to that bottom-up model, then you'll get they fumble with words and the definitions are never coming out clearly. But one thing they agree is that we have devolution, and that is where we need to start from.
Okay.
So this issue of bottom-up, I don't really understand it. But at some point, even they've had the best economists in their dream team, who has never come out clearly to explain what all this is, what this is all about. What I'm saying is pretty simple. We have experiences with devolution, and not all counties have devolved all the functions up to the least unit, that is called the village. Yes. When you say the least unit, how I wish this is where we should have targeted.
Okay.
And with that, with the devolutional structures that we have, then I would not agitate for what they are saying.
So I get you quite clearly, sir. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to delve in, to shift focus to another issue, of course, the Wiper Party leader being termed as the indecisive kingmaker. Mr. Simba, your party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka. And I just want us to base our this conversation on 4 major issues. Now, actually, the Uhuru Kenyatta succession has exposed Wiper Party leader to be a politician who often contradicts himself. Based on this, number 1, on 16th of June 2021, Kalonzo said that supporting Odinga's presidential bid for a 3rd successive time will be stupid of him, without maybe him being Odinga doing the same. 2, after the ANC and Ford Kenya bolted out of OKA, which had vowed to fill a presidential aspirant, Musyoka said that, I quote, "It's obvious some people had put roadblocks on the way. The path is now clearer. It's straight to the State House." And of course, he made his supporters believe that he was going at it till the ballot. And of course, the 3rd one, the former vice president, of course, last Friday said that OKA had initiated structured negotiations with like-minded parties, especially those in Azimio la Umoja, saying, and of course, he had categorically made it that those who they cannot work with is Kenya Kwanza. And of course, on Tuesday, now this week, he says that he made a U-turn and made tough demands on the Azimio la Umoja. Him joining them. And of course, we are hearing the ODM party leader, and of course, the Azimio presidential candidate now asking to bring some of his delegates, and of course, so that they can decide who the presidential aspirant, the contender of Azimio la Umoja, who will be the flag bearer. Well, all this put into it brings out Kalonzo Musyoka as the indecisive kingmaker. Actually, I was reading a newspaper, and it was written in bold that the indecisive kingmaker who now wants to be a king without a kingdom, because he does not even know which party he wants to. Is he going to run as a Wiper presidential candidate? Is it Azimio? Is it OKA? And so there is a lot of questions. Actually, the first one that I want you to tackle and help us in understanding is your party leader an indecisive kingmaker?
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Direct to your question. I would like you to withdraw the term indecisive kingmaker. My party leader has categorically made it clear that the media has already portrayed him in a manner that is always a kingmaker. Who said Kalonzo can never be a king? What makes him, what attributes that he lacks that can never make him a king? Why is Kalonzo a factor at this time of the political temperatures that we are in? But just first to correct you on what was said in the context. Kalonzo said this: he'll be the most foolish and the most stupid person if he supports Raila Amolo Odinga for the 3rd time.
Yes.
Based on reciprocity. That is what people are avoiding in this. Without a measure of reciprocity. Don't end the statement without the measure of reciprocity.
Okay.
This is someone who has sacrificed, my party leader, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. He has sacrificed in 2013. He gave his back to be climbed on. for the king to get the belt. Hope you do watch wrestling.
Okay.
The second time he did that, he gave his back. He carried all the weight for the belt to be held. Unfortunately, we did not hold the belt. The belt could not be held by Honorable Raila Odinga. This is someone who has shown that he's ready to work with other like-minded leaders so that he can take the country to another level. Do not take my party leader out of context using terms that he has never used. He's as sincere, you heard even in today's rally. Honorable not Mutua, yes Mutua, defining Kalonzo to be someone who is genuine, sincere, and can be used to win a presidential election. Let us take away that notion. Kalonzo Musyoka has all the attributes, and he has the numbers, if at all he needs to cling on the seat. What he's trying to do is a sacrifice he's making. And we have the paradox box, just to answer your last question. We had the paradox box, the MOU that was signed between Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Amolo Odinga. Then we had a depository that was now Professor Mutua. Why is this conflict raised at this time? Because Professor Mutua has come out supporting Raila Amolo Odinga, yet he was the only depository that Kalonzo Musyoka had. And the term was whether Raila Amolo Odinga wins the 2017 elections or loses, he will support my party leader.
Okay. I don't know whether, I don't know, let me speak to Genga. Genga, you are from ODM, and of course I believe you've also been following all these back and forth between between Kalonzo, and of course we've also had some of the Azimio affiliates saying also what they had to say about what Kalonzo was saying. And of course there's been a lot of things, there is hula baloo. Yes. What do you make of all this that is happening, more so at this point? First of all, is even Kalonzo an indecisive kingmaker? If at all you agree, what makes him one?
Thank you very much. Yes. I hold Kalonzo Musyoka in high esteem as a leader. Okay. However, I have issues with his timing in politics. Okay. You just say that Uhuru's succession has exposed him, but I want to disagree. I want to say that every election exposes the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka as an indecisive leader. So it's not just happening now. And I think because of indecisiveness, he's realizing that the Azimio la Umoja train has bolted out of station. Whereas he cannot jump to the other side, his only hope is to join the Azimio bandwagon, which is a bigger house where he can fit in. But whoever used the term indecisive, that is not me. I think the people in the newspaper, in the media, knows best why they chose that term. Okay. But I agree with that term. With much respect, as a politician of Kalonzo Musyoka's caliber, I expected him to have made a decision when these coalitions were forming. He should have been the first person to make a bold decision. And too late until even Musalia Mudavadi made a decision, however bad it is to some people, but at least he made a decision. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to say about the agreement with our party leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, in 2017, or way back from 2013. I think the reason why we have coalition agreements or we have MOUs is that we want to go out and win. Okay. We want to go out and get into power.
Now, I'll get into that. Your party leader, actually, Kalonzo, Raila Odinga, has now called, has dared, actually, Kalonzo Musyoka for a delegates conference where they are to decide who becomes the president.
I think that is not daring him. Okay. He's just being told that we are in the next phase where now the Azimio la Umoja delegates are going to converge and confirm one candidate. Okay. So if
What do you see happening actually from your own perspective? Because I believe that from Kalonzo's side, it's not just going to be wiper, but they're coming as one Kenya alliance. You get it?
Yes.
Yes. So what do you make? What do you make of this?
I think the sooner the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka realizes that Oka is actually going to be a shell, he should realize that much sooner.
Yes.
Rather than later. Because as you see, you had the other Oka members. Some of them already made decisions and were at the joint ODM and PNU National Delegates Conference, which we had last week. And so it builds logic to still believe that the leaders who are present and actually somehow endorsed Raila Amolo Odinga as the Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate would still come back through and sit down and then make demands. Okay. He is in his own right, he can make the demands, which he is making. But how I wish that for once, the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka make a very bold decision. Okay. However, the choices are so limited for him because either camp, he only fits best in the Azimio la Umoja, the big train. Because of issues to do with the even institutional memory. He has worked with Raila for a very long time. And I think whatever differences there are, they can easily solve them out. Okay. And being a man, as my friend has said, that he's known to be a man of high integrity, a man who you can trust to some extent, a man you can use. I wish he can come out clearly and make that bold decision and just say, for once, I have made a decision with or without the MOU. Because now bringing the MOU at this point brings me to one point. The MOU would be relevant at this point if NASA was a factor. Now, the very same people who divorced from NASA are the same people who are now demanding for an MOU that was a NASA document. Okay. Now, NASA is a dead horse. Okay. We are in another setup. Okay. The situation has changed. So with much respect, I think my friend
just to intervene,
actually, we are going for another break, but we are coming back.
Just to intervene a little on what he was trying to clarify. My party leader doesn't have any problem with joining the Azimio. What he only requested in context was a formal structured agreement. And I want to tell my brother Milton for a fact, though I know he'll be commenting on the same, that I saw Mudavadi being questioned, how are you in Kenya Kwanza? He said, we are here as friends. We'll come back at this time and period. And for sure, we'll be seeing people crying behind the curtain. We've seen a lot of coalitions happening, MOUs happening, that have been disrespected, that have been dishonored. And that is why all this paradox is now coming up. What my party leader only requested is a formal agreement. How are we coming in? This is a lady, yes, you've seduced her. Yes. Are we coming in as an Azimio Oka? Is Azimio a political party? Is it a group of parties? That's a simple question that needs to be answered.
Thank you. Actually, he's raising some serious concerns there about maybe that, of course, we're also going to delve deeply. The Kenya Kwanza coalition, I believe, as a coalition, also, we're going to get to understand the structured talks that, of course, the Wiper Party leader is asking for. Before Mudavadi joined UDA, did they have those structured talks? And if at all they had these structured talks, what are these? What were the conclusions? What did they decide on? Or as someone said, did he shoot, then he aimed? But of course, we are going to get deeply into that. We're taking another short, very quick break. But of course, don't go away, don't touch the dial because we are coming back. Keep the conversation flowing into 1144 at GBS TV Africa is where you find us on all social media platforms at Eugyne Ochieng. And of course, this is The Insight.
What exactly is like ailing our leadership?
For starters, old ways of thinking. A lot of the leaders who are still there still think in the colonial means of thinking. I can't blame them. Walizaliwa hizo times. Yeah. But wao wanataka kujua tu sahi iko sawa.
We need to let young people go out there, face the world, realize their potential, and when they move outside there and realize their potential, that's when we shall know the true character. Leadership is given by God.
When the mindset of the people, when the mindset of the leaders is different from what we have now, the mindset of the people will be different.
So corruption has taken that, it has become like a hereditary. People are inheriting from one generation to another.
It's your boy Ben C, and you can call me the True Ninja. I'd like to invite you on an amazing show that will be happening each and every Saturday from 8 p.m. to 8:30, and the repeat on Sunday, each and every Sunday from 1 p.m. So make sure you join us for the GBS Art Club for an amazing show. Discourse.
Hello, welcome back. Of course, this is the Insight where we are getting deep into politics. And of course, we've talked about Ruto and of course, the Deputy President's claims are in the US while in the Democratic Forum. Now we're talking about the Kalonzo, the watermelon, the guy who we know as the indecisive kingmaker, the media portraying him as such. But of course, Mr. Simba is saying, no, not my leader. He's not an indecisive kingmaker. What he's asking for is a structured formal agreement. But of course, now that raises another question here tonight, of course, which I want to pose to Mr. Lucheri, who is a senatorial aspirant. Of course, he's in UDA. UDA is has made a Kenya Kwanza coalition with Mudavadi. Now, my question is, even as Kalonzo Musyoka is asking for a structured talks, does it mean that Mudavadi, Wetangula, and of course now Ruto, these three parties coming together? Of course, we also have Chama cha Mashinani in this in the coalition of Kenya Kwanza. Did they sit down to have the coalition, a structured coalition agreement?
Yeah, thank you, Eugyne. Yes, there have been very formal and very clear engagements with Ford Kenya and ANC when they were coming on board. So we don't expect any form of political conmanship to happen, because the engagements are very clear, and that is a deal that is sealed. It's a cooperative agreement, sealed and signed and just waiting for execution. Okay. So that one is very clear. I just want to respond to the title that you alluded to, Kalonzo Musyoka. You know, that title was true 10 years back, but now it's not true. We will not say that he is an indecisive kingmaker. One, because yes, he was a kingmaker in the 2007 general election, when he decided to bolt out of ODM to make ODM Kenya. That is when he brought a runoff. And of course, he was called to the other side. So that is the time that he would have been the kingmaker. 2013, I wouldn't call him a kingmaker, because even with coming on board of the 5 other principals, still they did not take presidency. So I wouldn't call that kind of a person as a kingmaker. Come to 2017, I've just fast forwarded. There's a lot of belligerent groups within the hold that he used to control before. We have Maendeleo Chap-Chap. Led by Alfred Mutua. We have New Democrats. We have NAC Kenya. We have so many other political parties which were not there before. The region that he used to control. Compare that with ODM in Nyanza. There's only maybe one party. So right now, the constituency he was controlling has been seriously fragmented, such that he does not have the sole control of that power as before. So right now he's really ankling on a very small constituent, which is mainly Machakos area, where Wiper is still strong. But on the other parts of the lower eastern region, Wiper has lost his grip. So he's not per se a kingmaker as we speak. He has lost his clout. And then to further that discussion is that Bwana Simba here has mentioned that he's waiting for formal agreements. I would like to remind them that in 2013, there was a formal agreement between Kalonzo and and ODM, and even in 2017, there were also formal agreements. And that is the reason why NASA broke up, is because there were agreement in place, especially guided by the Political Parties Act, in terms of distribution of funds. Wiper was crying that we are part of the coalition, yet our due political funds are not assigned to us. So with those kind of agreements in place not being honored, he's waiting for another form of agreement so that they are not honored again.
Let me just go direct to Simba. Of course, still talking about your party leader. I don't know whether to continue the title anymore, but of course it's Kalonzo Musyoka. So let me ask you about Kalonzo Musyoka. Still about the formal structure of agreements that we are talking about, that you have even intimated about, that is actually what you guys need for you to join Azimio. Now, there have been agreements, and of course, even as you are talking about structured agreements, there have been formal talks, even in 2017, as he had said. But behind the curtains, of course, when you say that Kalonzo Musyoka recently opened the Pandora box, talking about maybe there was a secret pact, actually, between him and the former premier, that is Raila Amolo Odinga. What does this mean? Does it even talk about the Kenya's political terrain as that full of betrayal? Because if because NASA by then was not just Raila and Kalonzo, we had other principles. We had Budavadi, we had Ford Kenya's Wetangula in it, but they were not aware of this secret pact that was between Kalonzo Musyoka and Raila Odinga. What do you make of this, and what is the need? What was the need of of Kalonzo actually bringing it at this time? Was it even timely, according to you?
Okay, thank you so much once again.
Yes.
Just a reminder. Whenever we have MOUs amongst political parties affiliating to make one organ, there is one thing that you have to know. Different political parties come with different strengths. I call it the basket of goods. These strengths are the co-determinants of who should be awarded this and who should not be awarded this, based on the principle of bargaining power. I always say it in business. It is not what you are being awarded, but what you bargain. That is what you get. That's the principle that we do in business. Back to Kalonzo Musyoka factor. Kalonzo Musyoka is just being very genuine, and that is what has been hurting him all this time. And that is why he has always been viewed as an indecisive kingmaker. This time long, he has made a stand. So this stand is what has already made all these fumbles, that has already created this tension. And what he only requested for was a direct contest. Let us have a formally structured agreement between me and you. Though there are two agreements, just to highlight on that, that are always being made by political organs and parties. We have the Pandora box, where you have a depository who will be on you and the third person. That is why we raised concern about Mutua. He has already broken the trust that we had on that agreement.
So, yes, I want us to shift actually conversation, because we still have much more to talk about. I look at my watch, and of course time is cutting as a short. We're talking about party politics, of course. Thank you actually for that insight about Kalonzo Musyoka being the indecisive kingmaker. Now, you have given us a lot of insight on it, and of course, I believe we have gotten to understand a bit about it. And of course, we are going to the party politics. And Julius Genga, aspirants actually who lose during party nominations have been handed over a second fighting chance after the registrar of political parties gave them a 10-day window to register as independent candidates ahead of the 9 August general elections. Before this, there were laws actually that were barring people from hopping from one party to the other. Now that this law has been introduced, how does this augur with major political formations? Because we have actually major political formations, and of course we have now the Azimio la Umoja, we have Kenya Kwanza, we now have the OKA. Now should we have the nominations that are conducted, let me say unfairly? What are the repercussions?
Thank you. The repercussions on the recently passed political parties bill was imminent.
Yes.
And everybody expected that. It was supposed to address some challenges, where we see members who go to parliament, let's say on the strength of ODM, which is my party, they get to parliament, then they shift their allegiance to another party. And then the party now remains in such a position that they cannot discipline such an errant member. What I want to say, when the handshake came into place, we knew it would give birth to something. Yes, BBI was went into halftime. It was also going to give the political direction on political parties. And then now came the Azimio. Now Azimio was now the apex of this thing that has been cooking between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. Now, we have the amendment that was done. There were those who were against it because they felt that members should go to parliament and then should not be subjected to any allegiance to any party. Now, the big shocker is that now you go to parliament under Azimio. You will be bound by the rules and any decisions that will be made by that umbrella. Luckily, I consulted one of the senior lawyers. And I knew that there was a window for members who vie on one party, let's say under Azimio, and for one reason or the other, they feel that they want to still vie in the 9th August election. But now the registrar made it clear yesterday that that can only happen under as independent candidates. So one thing we must appreciate is it was a give and take because now it's giving, actually the new law is giving room to even smaller parties to go into the table and even negotiate. Look at Azimio train. It has very small parties. And they are going in there believing that they are going to negotiate with the bigger parties.
Mr. Lucheri, we're talking about this, the party politics. Of course, now there's a new law that has been introduced that, of course, I believe it favors the aspirants somehow. But of course, it is double-edged sword because I believe some other, like they have the major presidential contenders and even the formations have got a bit to lose, maybe from how we see it. But now the question is, we have had independent, we still have independent candidates who have gone ahead to the ballot and even won. We have like Ipe Governor Nderitu Mureithi, who is an independent candidate. We have in National Assembly around 14 members of parliament who are independent. Now my question actually is, how important or how significant is the party that you join to run for that seat?
Yeah, one of the benefits of being in a party in parliament is because it makes it easy to pass certain legislations because parties normally take issues, they take a position on a particular issue. And therefore, before a bill is passed, you'll see that members of parliament come together and they caucus around a particular issue and decide to vote in a particular way. And that is very advantageous because it makes bill making process quite easy and very seamless. It becomes a challenge when we have a lot of independents in the House because so many of them are not allied to any party. And therefore, passing some bills, they will play a very critical role, especially in determining which side the bill goes. So having independence in the House, it's a good thing, and also it's also a bad thing. It's a two double-edged sword.
Thank you, Mr. Milton. Actually, you have elucidated it a bit clearly enough because we are short of time. I'll give you a minute to maybe give us what you think about this, your thought, and of course, as you make your closing remarks, as you do that. Yes, sir.
What I do now, I will agree with my brother about the party politics.
Yes.
Independent politics is now out of context and questions. Though it's a good thing and it has the disadvantages, especially on the decision making and passing out of the bills. It has been a challenge for some time because wherever a bill is being raised and being discussed on the table, it is the party that brings the delegates on the similar level. It's being discussed, and thereby you'll find most of the independent candidates feeling that they have been outshined. So it has been a challenge of which we are aware that most of the parties, wherever they have already clinged onto power, they try to woo the independent candidates to be on their sides. It has been also a challenge at the grassroots levels, wherever there are very big battles on independent candidates and major political parties. You find that an independent candidate has claimed a position, and a big political party has been outshined. So such a conflicts have been, I think, needs to be ironed out, so that we can have clear platforms and equality in fighting for the votes on the ground, and equality on how resources are distributed during this electioneering period. You'll find that, like me, I'm in Wiper. Of course, I'm expecting a lot of support from my party, and unlike an independent candidate. So the Electoral Commission should review this, so that they can have an equilibrium on how these independent candidates can also be on equal level and equal battle with the ones in the parties.
What is your closing remarks? Talk to the people of Komarock. Tell them what you want to tell them.
The Komarock people?
Yes.
This is Simba Marara. I have already been on the ground. I have been at Jada A, Jada B, where I have already promised to erect offices on those grounds, where I'll be easily captured. I'll easily get your views. I'll easily be answering your questions. I'll be having my offices, 3 offices that I've already promised in Nasra, Jada A, Jada B, and the Umama area. I'm going to also improve the roads on those particular areas, the areas that have not been developed fully. I've also touched on water and education that has already been raised by my constituents. I'm going to try my best not to disappoint you. I'm going to deliver on these particular areas. You can take that to the bank. And finally, as we are now narrowing down to the electioneering period, let us not weigh our concerns based on political parties. We could be having different ideologies, but let us elect a leader. Let us not go for politicians. Though we all do politics, it's part and parcel of our lives. But this time long, I'm sending a clear message. Let us go for a leader who will change the lives that we have. Who is going to improve the youth lives who is going to improve the youth lives. And those are my main agendas by building a rehabilitation center. I think that is well noted, and I thank you so much for your support, because I know you've already voted me in.
Okay, let me now go to you, Genga. We can do this. I believe you're going for a second term at Koru Ward. Yeah, just speak to them in 2 seconds, MCA Bonantia.
Thank you very much. Before I speak to them, what I want to say is party politics is getting to a direction where we will we may differ ideologically, even within the parties. But I want to disagree with my friend that we need to somehow kill the independence. In the US, we know of independence. In the UK, we have independence. And it only depends on which ideologies they believe in. Luckily, the new political parties law now takes us to a direction where we will end up having coalitions in the future. And we may coalesce around not more than 2 coalitions in future elections, which is a great step forward. Now, as a second term, seeking second term as an MCA, I want to say that devolution has its challenges, but it is the best approach. It is the best model. Let us just enhance devolution and ensure that funds are given to up to the least devolved unit as per the Constitution. So when that happens, then you realize that even the person at the least level of devolution, they get to benefit. And I believe strengthening and enhancing devolution is the way to go for our future. As a second-term MCA, I believe I still have what it takes. We have high-octane politics from my area, but I'm up to the task, and I can tell you that we are going to be here again to talk more.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Lucheri, talk to the people of Nairobi. Of course, they're listening to you. They want to see the next, the senator. What is the senator up to?
Thank you so much. My name is Milton Lucheri. I'm running for the position of Nairobi Senate come 9th of August. And I would like to call everyone and all and sundry to vote for me as their next senator. One thing that needs to be very clear is that this country is at the brink of revolution, and that is economic revolution. And I am asking Kenyans, kindly, give a chance to a new economic model, and we are going to see the results. We've tried the others for over 50 years, and we've seen where we are as a country. Let's give ourselves this one more chance so that we may get true and true transformative country in the next coming days. And finally, I will close with a saying that goes, if we want to change the world, or if we want to sweep the world, we will not need a big broom to sweep the world. We will just ask everyone in their little corners to pick a broom and sweep their corner, and the entire world will be cleaned. And that is the bottom-up economic model. Thank you. My name is Milton Lucheri. I ask your vote and I ask your support running under the party of UDA, and please vote for my presidential candidate, William Samoei Ruto, as your next president. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Wow, 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 wow. It has actually been a very, very great discussion here, a great discourse with you guys. I'm very grateful. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for honoring my invite to the show. I believe I'll continue inviting you, and of course, we'll continue conversing on a lot more issues, of course, even as we get to the 2022 succession politics, of course, which is quite tough. But of course, I wish you guys all the best in your areas of interest. I believe we'll be coming here after August 9th general elections. And of course, you will be Senate. And of course, Julius Genga will have retained his seat. And of course, Mr. Marara will be the MCA of Komarock Ward. Gentlemen, ladies watching from home, well, this is your show, The Insight, where we talk about politics. We give insights on issues that are affecting you. And of course, we delve deeply into them by bringing different stakeholders in the house. Our guests who delve deeply into this. Of course, my guests have spoken. Much to say now, but to wish you a very, very good evening. See you next Friday, every 8 p.m. till 9:30, where we talk nothing but politics. Have a good night. On behalf of everyone who has made this a success, good night. Thank you so much, sir.